Dr. Recep Şentürk today in Princeton University. We had the pleasure to hear Dr. Recep today in Princeton in one of the events, and also we are hosting him to talk more about maybe three topics or three areas that I think it's interested to all of our audience and viewers. Let me first introduce Dr. Recep. Welcome, Dr. Recep, here in Princeton.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
It's our pleasure, and also I will be my assistant or our boss, Mehdi, is one of the journalists here in Princeton, and he will also be part of this discussion. And we want this discussion to be informal, to know more about Dr. Recep, his work, his experience in the United States, in Turkey, in Qatar now, his experience in life, education, his publications, his areas of work, and maybe we can have some benefits and advices at the end to what we are talking about in our talk. So once again, thank you, Dr. Recep, for coming. I had to say that Dr. Recep is one of the expert people in Islamic studies. He is the Dean of Islamic Studies at Hamad Bin Khalifa University in Qatar. He was also the former of Ibn Khaldun University in Turkey from 2017 till 2021. Dr. Recep had a PhD from Columbia University's Department of Islamic Studies, and he is specialized in civilization and also focusing his work in human rights and modernization in the Muslim world. Dr. Recep also served as a researcher at the Center of Islamic Studies in Istanbul, and as a founding director of Alliance of Civilization Institute. He had a lot of research interest in political sociology and civilization studies, human rights, social theory and methods, and had a lot of experience as well in different areas. Let's start, Dr. Recep, talking about your brief about you. What did you study? When did you come to Columbia? And then we will talk about your publication after.
Thank you very much. My intellectual journey started in Istanbul. I first studied at Imam Hatip High School, where I was exposed to Islam for the first time, and Arabic. Then I decided to continue studying Islamic studies at Marmara University, and I also minored in education. So I combined Islamic studies and education as an undergrad student at Marmara University, School of Islamic Studies, İlahiyat Fakültesi. And I did my MA at Istanbul University, Department of Sociology. The topic of my MA was development of sociology in Egypt. I traveled to Egypt. I was visiting a researcher at Ain Shams University, but I visited different universities and met different scholars in Egypt, in particular Abdul Wahid Al-Wafi, Hassan Saati, and all the leading sociologists in Egypt. I was trying to answer the question of how a Western science was transplanted to a Muslim country. I was comparing Turkey and Egypt because these are the two most westernized countries. Sociology was born in France, in Europe, and then it was transplanted in these two countries, Turkey and Egypt. I was trying to explore this. While doing this, I came to discover that before sociology, we had another science studying human action, social institutions, and this science was called fiqh. So this was a great surprise for me, because we were taught in our classes that the scientific study of society, human action, social relations, and institutions emerged for the first time in France by Durkheim, Auguste Comte, and other sociologists. But I discovered that before sociology, we had fiqh to study human action, social relations, and institutions. Then, for my PhD topic, I wanted to write on the comparison between fiqh and social science, and how Muslim world transitioned from fiqh to social science in studying human action, social relations, and also solving social problems. But I got a scholarship from Turkey to study sociology in America. So this is how I came to Columbia University. There I did my second MA in sociology and then PhD. My PhD was on the Hadith Transmission Network 610 to 1505. It's published as a book by Stanford University Press. For those who are interested, they can get a copy of it and have a look at it. After I finished my PhD, I went back to Istanbul. I worked at Center for Islamic Studies, which is the publisher of the longest Encyclopedia of Islam, 44 volumes. I was the editor of the articles about civilization. After that, I founded Lives of Civilizations Institute at Istanbul. Then I was appointed as the founding rector or the president of Ibn Haldun University. I founded Ibn Haldun University as a social science university. And I am also founding president of International Ibn Haldun Society, promoting Ibn Haldun as an alternative to the existing Eurocentric social sciences. And so my works, they are about like the human rights, the concept of Ademiyya and Malcolm X, and most recently I published a book on Futuwa, which is youth ethics, grounded in the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Because when I was young, I used to think if we reform law, we'll solve all the problems. Then I realized that the law is controlled by politics. Then I started focusing on politics. Later, I realized that politics is controlled by economy. Then I started working on economy. But at the end, I came to the conclusion that everything is grounded on ethics. So now my focus is on ethics. And this is what Prophet Muhammad said. When he wanted to reform society, he said, so akhlaq, ethics is the foundation of everything else. Without solid ethics and morality, politics collapses, economy collapses, law collapses, nothing works. So that's my recent point at the moment.
Yeah, Dr. Rajab, while you were talking, we had this wonderful screen sharing about your website and your publications, and some of them that you talked about. But we will go back. We will come back, and also your experience on establishing Ibn Khaldun University. I leave it to Mehdi, and then we will come back and share more of your work while you are talking.
Once again, we welcome Dr. Recep Şentürk, our scholar. We would like you to talk to us about the university, Hamad Bin Khalifa University, which we're going to start from Hamad Bin Khalifa, and then we can go back to everything that you've done.
Yes,
please let us know.
Currently, I'm serving as the Dean of Cultural Islamic Studies at Hamad Bin Khalifa University. Cultural Islamic Studies has a very unique perspective to Islamic studies. We study Islam as religion and civilization. Religion is what we are given by God in the Quran and in Hadith and in Sharia. At the same time, like we Muslims built a civilization, including arts, architecture, institutions of financial institutions, educational institutions, and many other things. They're not given in the Quran or in the Sunnah. Muslims build it over time. So this is what I call civilization. So Islam is both religion and civilization. So this is how we study at Hamad Bin Khalifa University. We have 8 MA programs. Like just recently, we launched counseling psychology from Islamic perspective. So this is a unique and avant-garde program, cutting-edge program, because people talked about a need in psychotherapy or counseling from Islamic perspective, but it was all theoretical. For the first time, we will, inshallah, educate and train counseling psychologists in our program. And we have MA in Islam and Global Affairs, MA in Contemporary Islam, MA in Islamic Finance, MA in Islamic Applied Ethics. So as I said, we have like 8 MA programs, and then we have 2 PhD programs, one in Islamic Finance and Economics, the other in Islamic Studies. But when we say Islamic Studies, it's not narrowly focused on only Islam as religion, but Islam as civilization, as broad perspective.
So we were talking about all the programs that Hamad Bin Khalifa University offer, and we want to go back to the establishment of Ibn Khaldun University, which you were the founding president of. So please talk to us about Ibn Khaldun University.
Yes, I am invited to be the founding rector and president of Ibn Khaldun University. I saw it as an opportunity for me to implement my views in social sciences, because I see that the Muslim world and also non-Western world in general are academically dependent on Western world, and social sciences in the Western world, they failed in solving the problems of their own society. So they are facing many problems and they cannot solve it. Like economists, they could not predict one of the biggest economic crises. And the same way in political science, social problems, etc. So how come they can solve the problems of a different culture and society? So we need to have our own social sciences. And I also founded International Ibn Khaldun Society to offer Ibn Khaldun as an alternative. So they say Ibn Khaldun is pioneer of modern social sciences. I say no, he's not pioneer. He's alternative of modern social sciences. So I thought this is going to be an opportunity for me to implement my views on social science education. So we decided to make Ibn Khaldun University as a social science university, no engineering, no medical school, because we believe that the social sciences and humanities, these are more important in shaping the culture and civilization. So this is how we established Ibn Khaldun University as a research university, So that this was the goal. And the motto of Ibn Khaldun University is intellectual independence. Intellectual independence in the field of social sciences and humanities. This was the initial idea and the purpose.
Dr. Rajab, you mentioned that you established Ibn Khaldun University. You are one of the graduated students from one of the best IVY universities, Columbia University. While you are thinking of Columbia, Harvard, Princeton, and their unique work and their repetition in the world, and you had the chance to establish a university in one of the Islamic world. Regarding when you think of Colombia, endowments, attracting different people, inventions, different unique programs, do you think you tried or you succeeded in transferring or applying some of these ideas, dreams while you are establishing Ibn Khaldun? And if not, what are the main challenges? And if yes, what did you do?
I am blessed to be exposed to many educational models, in the world, in Turkey, in Egypt, in America, Colombia. I also used to come, to take some courses from Princeton University as well. Some, Colombia and Princeton, they sometimes offer joint courses. I used to attend them as well. So all these experiences, helped me to come up with my own vision, how a good university should be. And I explained this in a speech I gave after being appointed as the president of the university. It's published as a small booklet. The title is "What's a University?" What's a university? Because my colleagues wanted me to share with them my vision about what's a university. And my understanding is that education is an instrument to raise the ideal person for the culture in which education institutions are located. So, like American university produces ideal American, Japanese university produces ideal Japanese, and the German university produces ideal German, and they contribute to the development of civilization, which I call civilizational sustainability. Civilizational sustainability depends on the epistemic sustainability, cultural sustainability, along with economic and political, environmental sustainability. But the epistemic sustainability, cultural sustainability is more important than economic and political and environmental sustainability. When I say epistemic sustainability for Muslims, we have a very unique understanding of epistemology. We accept empirical knowledge. We accept rational knowledge. We also accept divine revelation as a source of knowledge. So I call this multiplex epistemology, an epistemology that combines multiple types of knowledge together. And our social science is based on this epistemology, which is very unique. And it does not exist at Columbia University or Harvard or Oxford or Princeton. So I try to establish this epistemology as a foundation of Islamic societal sciences. This I call it open epistemology or epistemological pluralism. This epistemological pluralism is the foundation of social pluralism and political pluralism. If you don't have epistemological pluralism, you cannot have social and political pluralism. If you think the only knowledge is the empirical knowledge, and if there are people who accept different type of knowledge with a different type of discourse, they are excluded from academia, from discourse community. You have to allow different discourse communities with their own epistemologies to be part of the intellectual, political, and social community. So this requires epistemologic pluralism and open epistemology. And this is part of Islamic civilization, which accepts maratib al-ulum. Maratib al-ulum, al-aql, wal-hawas, wal-wahi. Reason, sense perception, and divine revelation. These are the three major sources of knowledge. So our university is based on this epistemology. Okay. So this is what makes Islamic university. But at the same time, the whole world today needs this kind of university, not reductionist perspective to knowledge.
Okay. Last question, I promise, about Ibn Khaldun University, and leave it, go back to Mehdi. You mentioned Ibn Khaldun is a research-based university. And this term is not famous in most of the world, at least as far as I know. A lot of people say universities means teaching. Regardless, is most of the universities or elite universities are research-based. Even here we are in Princeton, it's considered as a research-based university. So if you want just to explain this term, what's the difference between research-based universities and regular university, or the one who don't say that we are research-based? How is Ibn Khaldun research-based? What about Qatar? You can talk about both of them at the same time, Dr. Rajab.
Yeah, Hamad Bin Khalifa University is also a research university. Ibn Khaldun also was a research university. For a university, the most important thing is to have a research agenda. A research agenda, and also a unique methodology and epistemology in research. So this is what makes a university a unique university with a distinctive identity and quality. Otherwise, you are a standard university without any distinction. Nothing makes you stand out. So what makes a serious university, a respectable university, stand out is the epistemology, the methodology, which is unique, for this university, and also the research agenda. What are the issues that are being researched? What are the issues that are put in the agenda? So for us, like as I have mentioned, we have a unique epistemology, and also we have a multiplex methodology, which includes multiple methods in scientific research. I mean, I don't want to go into details of it, but every type of knowledge that we accept as a legitimate source of knowledge, like sense perception, requires empirical methods, and reason requires rational methods, and divine revelation requires methods of scriptural reasoning and also interpretation. So you see, we don't accept only a single method as a scientific method being used in research. So our research universities are distinguished with this pluralistic methodology, with this pluralistic epistemology, but at the same time searching for our own problems and the problems of humanity from this perspective, which is a unique perspective, very comprehensive, very holistic, very pluralist, and this perspective is important for the diversity management of our societies, because diversity is increasing in the world today, and the most important problem is diversity management. Muslims are best in diversity management. When you study Islamic history, this is the most outstanding feature of Islamic civilization, diversity management. From India to Arab world, to Turkey, Balkans, Indonesia, everywhere, Muslims came up with such a solid diversity management system, and it's based on this multiplex epistemology and this multiplex methodology. So today, this is what the world needs. And as Muslims, I believe it's our obligation to introduce this epistemological pluralism to the whole world. Otherwise, uniplex epistemology, uniplex methodology, like reductionist, emphasizing that there can be only one source of knowledge and there can be only one scientific method, and excluding all others. This is authoritarianism. This is exclusionism. So this is what the whole world needs today, and this will solve many conflicts. I believe this multiplex epistemology is the best tool to resolve many of the conflicts and to prevent them before turning into conflicts. I believe Islamic Research University should revive this perspective. I call this rooted revival. rooted revival, rather than importing uniplex and reductionist perspectives from other countries. They should focus on this, and also multiplex perspective, multi-epistemology allows interacting with other existing systems. Like we accept empirical research as a source of knowledge. Those who do empirical research, we can benefit from them. We are empirical but not empiricist. We are rational but not rationalist. So we accept wahi also, but we don't say everything can be solved and explained by wahi. It has its domain. So using wahi to address empirical issues, this would be epistemological trespassing, epistemological transgression. So use wahi in its proper place and use empirical knowledge in its proper place. Avoid epistemic and methodological trespassing and violation the proper domains. And this is what we have in Ibn Khaldun, in Imam Ghazali, in our own tradition from the very beginning. And this is what makes Islam open civilization. This is what I call open civilization. So from the very beginning, Muslims were open to many diverse communities, and open civilization is based on open epistemology, open methodology. So this is how Muslims created a very strong diversity management system from India to Andalusia.
Yes. You introduced a very good term, diversity management. And actually, you brought us to the town of Andalusia, where Muslims were inclusive of all religion, all society. That's why they flourish. It's very important that you show us and maybe talk to students on how to get involved and introduced to this kind of thinking, because we really need this kind of thing in nowadays with all the conflicts around us. It is not only one solution based on certain methodology, but diversity management that inclusive of all this could be introduced and solve a lot of the issues around the world.
Yeah.
What do you think can be done, and how can you introduce through the university or through the Usul Academy or through all the work that you've done to our students how to get involved?
Yes, Islamic civilization, Islamic law, Islamic political thought is based on Adamiyya, the concept of Adamiyya, which is humanity. So Islam honors every child of Adam, regardless of their sex, regardless of their religion, regardless of their color, regardless of their class. So every human being is protected under Islamic law, and they have a place in Islamic political system. But unfortunately, today, this concept of Adamiyya is forgotten by Muslims. So we need to revive this concept on which Islamic law has been based for so many centuries. Unfortunately, under the influence of modern nationalism, now we believe in citizenship of a particular nation state. This is very much narrow understanding of Islam. So Islam is based on Adamiyya, and there is a legal maxim in Islamic law, al-isma bil-Adamiyya. Al-isma bil-Adamiyya, that means right to inviolability is due for humanity. Every child of Adam is protected. Al-isma bil-Adamiyya. So this is the foundation of Islamic diversity management system. So you have to first recognize that all children of Adam are protected. Their life, their property, their religion, their mind, their family, their honor is protected. So you mentioned the Andalusia model, where Muslims, Christians, and Jews established an open civilization. So this Ahl Kitab, this is what I call Ibrahimiyya, open civilization. But there is also India model under Baburis or Mughals. I think this is more important. to demonstrate the universalism of Islamic civilization, because in India, Buddhists and Hindus, they lived under Islamic rule for so many centuries, and they are not Ahl Kitab, they are Abrahamic, so Muslims granted Buddhists, Hindus the same rights they granted to Christians and Jews. Why? Because of the concept of Adamiyya, on which Islamic law is based. And there are other examples. For instance, Zoroastrians in Persia, in Iran, they worship fire. Muslims gave them the same rights. And the idol worshippers in Africa, in Mauritania, for instance, Al-Wathaniyun, Muslims gave them the same rights as well. Why? Because they are Adamis. And this is called Hukuk al-Adamiyin, Hukuk al-Adamiyin, which means human rights. But unfortunately, this concept has also been forgotten. Today, we need to revive Ismat al-Adamiyin, Hukuk al-Adamiyin, Ihtiram al-Adamiyin, on which Islamic law, Islamic political system, Islamic ethical system is based. So we are brothers with all children of Adam. And this brotherhood is based on mutual rights and duties. This is Hukuk al-Ukhuwa. This is the largest circle of Hukuk al-Ukhuwa. Then we have Ukhuwa fil Adamiyya. Then we have Ukhuwa fil Ibrahimiyya, that we are brothers and sisters with Christians and Jews, closer relationship because we are all Abrahamic religion. And then we have Ukhuwa fil Muhammadiyya, that we are all followers of Prophet Muhammad. At each level, we have rights and duties among brothers and sisters. So we need to revive this as the foundation of a new diversity management system, inclusive diversity. And the best expression of this is in the Futuwa ethics, which is based on altruistic ethics.
Your research, some of your research is based on modernization of Muslim world. This is a big task.
Yes.
What do you think can be done, or the steps that can be done to go into the process of modernization of the Muslim world? Because people think modernization means that new building, new ACs, new cars. They don't think about the philosophical and the theological process of modernization. Can you please explain this to us?
Yeah, actually, it's a very important question. If you define modernization as westernization, this is a wrong definition. And we should not westernize. We should modernize. And by genuine modernization is at-tajdeed al-mu'assam, rooted revival. And tajdeed is part of our tradition. We are not traditionalists. We have a tradition. And a tradition does not mean preserving the ashes. Tradition means keeping the fire on. That's tradition. And this requires rooted revival. And so from modernization, we should not understand westernization. We should understand tajdeed, rooted revival, tajdeed al-muassal. So if Muslim world suffered from efforts for revival and modernization without rootedness, it is doomed to fail. And on the other hand, there was focus on conservatism without any attempt for a revival. So it's also doomed to fail. Conservatism without the revival leads to freezing and stopping dynamic life, which is impossible. And on the other hand, any effort for revival without any rootedness, it's also doomed to fail. But rooted revival, I think, is a synthesis, between these two trends. So this is how we should define modernization as rooted revival. So modernization in the Muslim world it was misunderstood and mispracticed as Westernization. So now it is time for us to come up with a proper definition of modernization and move in this direction. So because of the Westernization, we abandoned fiqh and brought in its place Western social sciences, and this led to academic dependency, intellectual dependency, and it did not have any fruits in solving our problems. As I mentioned, like I studied development of sociology in Egypt as part of my master's thesis. In the beginning, there was big hope from Western sociology that Western sociology will come and solve all problems of Egyptian society. It will solve illiteracy, it will solve poverty, it will solve injustice, it will solve lack of freedoms, etc. In a few decades, they got disillusioned that Western sociology did not solve any of the existing problems. So now, in the light of this, like a 2 centuries experience and flirting, with Western social science, we have to adopt the rooted revivalist perspective with multiplex epistemology and multiplex methodology. This does not mean we will reject Western scientific gains and findings because we are open civilization. We are open to accept any empirically proven fact. But we should be very critical about speculations and interpretations based on those data. We have to have our own interpretation, but empirical facts we accept. So this is what I understand from modernization in brief.
Okay, Dr. Rajab, now I just checked your most of your publications and your grade books, and I'm also having a screen share for those who are hearing and listening to us about your books. And I see that you have an interest in human rights, and one of your articles, Human Rights in Ottoman Reform, Foundation and Formations, and it was published by Ibn Khaldun. Freedom and human rights, they are not stopping. There is no limits, as Imam Samir just said about freedom and slavery. And do you think this goes with Islam beliefs that we are encouraging a lot of ideas regarding freedom and not stopping in any of the limitations about freedom and human rights? What do you think?
Yeah, this is very important topic in our fiqh, in our Sharia, in our religion. We are for freedoms, but properly understood and practiced. As I have mentioned, and these freedoms not only for Muslims but also for everyone, for all children of Adam. Freedom of life, freedom of property, freedom of education, and freedom of expression, family, honor, like all these things, they are protected under Islamic law for everybody. But Muslims, during the late Ottoman period, they reformed Islamic law. So they abolished Zimma status. Before that, there were Zimmis and non-Zimmis. Muslims, they were considered like Muslim citizens, and then non-Muslims, they were considered Zimmi citizens. So they abolished this distinction. They introduced universal citizenship for everybody under Ottoman rule. No more Zimmi and non-Zimmi distinction. This was in 1856. And they also abolished jizya tax in 1856. So in 1855, the ulama, Shaykhul Islam and ulama proposed abolishing the Zimma status and jizya tax to the Sultan Khalifa. The Sultan Khalifa deliberated for a year, eventually he was convinced that the proposition of the ulama was the right thing to do, and he made a farman and declared this. So this is something very important. Also in 1847, the Ottoman Sultan and Khalifa abolished slavery. Okay, so slavery has been abolished by Muslims in 1847 by the Khalifa, by the Shaykh al-Islam, by the ulama. No more slavery in Islam, no more zimma status in Islam, no more jizya in Islam. But unfortunately, because this is not known, we come across with many questions, about Islam and slavery, Islam and zimma status, Islam and jizya tax, etc. I tell those colleagues, don't shoot the dead horse. This issue has been addressed, like 2 centuries ago. Why waste your time with it? By the highest authority, the Khalifa, the Shaykh al-Islam, and the ulama, not like academics like us. We have no authority, but at that time, those people had the highest authority. So they addressed these issues and they solved it. So why bother with it again? So I think we should begin where they left, build upon this existing legacy, and address new questions rather than addressing the same questions again and again. So this is my opinion regarding human rights, minority rights. I have an article titled Minority Rights in Islam from Zimmi to Citizen. So when we discuss these issues, we should take into consideration where Muslims stopped dealing with these issues in a serious manner and build upon it and go further, upward and onward, rather than stopping without taking into account the previous work.
Okay, I have this screen sharing now in the last stop, and
Yes.
your other hat, Dr. Rajab,
Yeah.
and I leave it to Mehdi to talk and ask about Usul Academy.
You reminded me with some of our scholars used to say ما ترك الأوائل من مقالة اللقاء, which means that they have not left anything for the old generation, and you are now really opening up the real revival of this subject, and we can go into Usul Academy, because people think about Usul that we're going to go backward.
Yes.
So this is the definition that we need to clarify for people. Going Usul does not mean we go backward, but we use the basis from what we learned from our scholar and our teacher, and as you said, built on it. Can you please comment on Usul Academy and what you have in mind in terms of
Yes.
that?
The motto of Usul Academy, rooted revival.
Yes.
Rooted revival, because Usul means roots.
Yes.
But at the same time, Usul means methods, a methodological revival, not like haphazard, random revival, based on methodological principles. And this is what we call a tajdid al-muassar. So that's the view. And in Usul Academy, the curriculum reflects this view, because Usul Academy curriculum combines the traditional madrasa education with all the classical works. The traditional madrasa curriculum was formulated by Imam Ghazali. It's called Dars-i Nizami or Nizamiya madrasas, and it became standard from India to Balkans and North Africa, everywhere. It was implemented. So we made this part of our curriculum, classical Arabic and classical Islamic disciplines. But at the same time, the second major component at Usul Academy is modern or postmodern social sciences and humanities, including psychology, ethics, birth of modern world, finance, political thought, etc. So the oldest and the newest are combined together in Usul Academy program. And a third element is about Islamic morality and spirituality, because Islam is a religion. Islam is not an academic doctrine. And Prophet Muhammad was not like a philosopher.
Yeah.
He was not like Aristotle, Plato, or Kant, or Hegel. He was a prophet. So to reflect this, this is how we made our curriculum at Usul Academy. So Usul Academy is a supplementary, offers a supplementary education for students and professionals. So they can, like, students can be studying anything in any university, but they can take complementary education, supplementary education from Usul Academy. It's global, virtual madrasa. We have students from all over the world, from Japan, from Africa, America, Europe, China, everywhere. We have students from all over the world, and it's because it's online. It's possible to bring to onboard great scholars from Arab world, from Europe, America, from everywhere. We have great scholars, and we are at Usul Academy. We are committed to excellence. And we want to offer serious education because it's online. It's not joke. It's serious, and students must meet certain prerequisites to be able to continue. So we have 1 year Arabic preparation. It's academic Arabic. The students are prepared to be able to take a class from an Arab sheikh in Arabic in 1 year. Alhamdulillah, it's a great success. So education is in English and Arabic. Is open to students from any branch and also professionals from any branch. We even have people with PhDs. In the beginning, we thought, oh, these people, they are all qualified. We should not accept them. But those PhDs, and we even have like professors, studying, they convinced us. They said, our education has been completely secular. We have no Arabic, no understanding of Islam. So we had to accept them. We also have like, professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and even housewives, alhamdulillah. But also, because we had the demand, we designed diploma in comparative social sciences. Because there are people who are well-grounded in Islamic knowledge. They need to know the modern Western aspect of it. So in order to serve them, we open this diploma in comparative studies 1 year. And then there are some professionals, they don't have much time. They just want to learn more about Islam. So we made a diploma in Islamic foundations, just 1 year, only in English. And we also plan to build upon this diploma in Islamic foundations, Islamic psychology diploma, Islamic education diploma program, Islamic finance and economics diploma program, inshallah ta'ala, in the future. So during the year, we have trimester system, short semesters, like 10, 11 weeks. And then over the summer, we have sohbet program in Istanbul, for 1 month. This in person is like half sohbet and studying and half sightseeing in Istanbul and the cities around Istanbul. During the week, it's asynchronous. Students watch videos, and on Saturday it's synchronous. They get together with their instructors to have a discussion about the subjects, so that they can better understand and digest. Over the summer, they come and they meet their friends and also their instructors.
I think we've taken so much of your time. I think we need much more than this one lecture or interview, but I'm sure that we're going to be able to do more thanks to our technology, thanks to Princeton University for allowing us to use this time to introduce our scholar here, Dr. Recep Şentürk, and we hope to see you again and learn from you more. Thank you to my co-host, Doctor, who can introduce you more than I can.
Thank you very much
Thank you, Mehdi. Thank you, Dr.
Samir and Dr. Mehdi. I'm very happy to be with you, having this nice conversation.